Welcome to Chapter 2, The Founding and the Constitution. In this chapter, we're going to look at the history of the United States before it became the United States. And the way we're going to do this, and some of the goals of the chapter in this particular module, is to look at the founding documents. And so we're going to look at the events and the issues that led up to the Declaration of Independence in 1776, where the colonies broke away from the English and the rule of the king. We're also going to look at this thing called the Articles of Confederation, the first national government, which was in place from 1777 to 1789. What was it? What was it about? And why was it deemed to be unsuccessful or a failure? Which led to a constitutional convention, where a group of representatives from the 13 colonies came together in 1787 with the idea of addressing the issues or the shortfalls of the Articles of Confederation. But as we know, that's not exactly what they did. In fact, what they did is write a new U.S. Constitution. We'll also look at in this chapter, how did they get there? What were the compromises, the decisions that had to be made to put this new national government together? And you'll see read some of the specifics of what the founders actually discussed and looked at as they wrote this new Constitution. We'll consider the goals as they wrote the Constitution. What were they hoping to accomplish and achieve? Obviously, the Articles were not delivering on what they had thought. So what are some of the ideas? This concept of what's excessive democracy, and why did they choose the particular form of government that we now know as the United States of America? Some of the broader, bigger issues we will see in this chapter include the notion of power and consent of the governed, and that being the citizens of this newly formed nation, as well as power, and where do you locate power? How do you divide power? How do you protect from? Coming off the dominance of the British king, there was a fear of a very strong national government. So how did they do that? And how did they assign powers? We'll also go through each of the branches, the legislative branch, Congress, how it was structured, what their roles and responsibilities would be. You'll read about the executive branch. Clearly, this was one of the areas where the founders were most hesitant to put significant powers, again, reflecting on their experience with the king. We'll talk about the judicial branch and the goal of creating this Supreme Court, one that could govern over all others. Some of the key concepts that you need to take away are this concept of the separation of powers, the division of power. So it's not all centralized and concentrated. And the framers did this in a particular way based on their experience and their background, their educations. And thus we have the three branches. And you'll see how power was divided up among the three branches. One of the primary goals was to limit the power of the national government. And you'll read some of the ways that using checks and balances, this concept called federalism, which we'll get into in more detail in the next chapter. And then the Bill of Rights, which was really geared towards protecting citizens and individuals. Lastly, we'll go over how do you change this Constitution? How do you amend it? The framers recognized there would be, over time, it would have to be revisited and modified. They did not want to make this an easy process. In fact, they made it a very difficult process, and we'll look at how you amend the Constitution, and then more specifically, how it's been amended over time. The 27 amendments that now have been ratified and are a part of our U.S. Constitution, recognizing that the first 10 came in a single action shortly after the ratification of the Constitution. Recommend you read the chapter before you begin any of the exercises. As always, if you have questions, issues, concerns, please contact your instructor, who will be happy to assist you. Good luck in Chapter 2.